We are live right now. We are live right now. 3, 2, 1. Blah blam. Welcome everybody to today's episode of Chef Kaz Show. So the Kaz Effect podcast. For those of you who are just joining us recently, I'll tell you a quick funny story. And this will tie in directly to why I'm committed to doing this. Okay, so 9 years ago, more or less, I started doing a streaming video chat. You could call it a podcast. Somebody called things podcasts at that time. And I did it with my friend, good friend, Dr. Darian Parker. And we called it the Chef Kaz and Dr. D Show. It was extremely irreverent, extremely a lot of 90s references, a lot of favorite movies, 80s, 90s, 2000s references. Just being like just dumb humor, all that good shit. Anyhow, so you know who else got their start on Ustream? If you weren't aware of this, if you didn't know this, the person who also got his start on Ustream. We were only me on Facebook until right now. Okay, so now if you're just joining me, go back and watch the beginning. But I don't know if you can because it was locked. Facebook is only not showing my stuff to anybody these days. I gotta make sure I correct that. But what's up, Click It Social? I see you guys. I see you guys on the Instagram. So we're live here on Instagram, Facebook, Google, YouTube. All right. So Joe Rogan is the long-winded answer to the question of who else got their start on Ustream. So maybe you've heard of this guy, $100 million podcast to Spotify exclusive. So I'm not saying, I'm just saying, right? I'm not saying, I'm just saying. So today I forgot to do my board here, my beautiful board. My bedroom door is open though. That's wonderful. So Aunt Barb's calling me on there. Let me call you back. Let me resume my video. All right, so here we go. So I'm going to jump into today's title is There Is No Worse, which is kind of the follow-up to my first book, my long-anticipated second book. My first book is There Is No Other Shoe, and my second book is going to be titled There Is No Worse, right? And I'll talk about what that means in a second. But let me just run down today's topics that I'm going to cover here. So the first thing is there is no worse. What does that mean and how that ties in with the rest of this? The second is proactivity leads to opportunity, whereas inaction leads to stagnation. Okay. I'll go into that in a lot more detail. Third thing is just don't quit and how that is just like riding a bicycle. Hey, Click It Social. I see you. And the fourth thing is, what's the result we're striving for, because the result can look one way in our head, but when we get to that result, it no longer satisfies us. It's no longer, our goal. We now have a new goal. So what's our goal? The goal is to build momentum, right? We'll talk about that. And then the last thing is detachment. So I'm going to run not too long today, probably about 15, 20 minutes. But I want to talk about these things and get my stretch on here while I'm talking to you. So let me just start off with the title, with the topic number one. There is no worse. So the thing that got me thinking about this was, maybe you've heard the expression, one step back, two steps forward. We don't just say one step back and just stop. It's one step back, two steps forward. Sometimes it's two steps back, one step forward. But the important part is finish with the step forward, right? Always finish with the step forward. So in that step back, you might be thinking, I'm getting worse. My situation's getting worse. This is getting harder. I don't like this. This is unpleasant. It's uncomfortable. I'm not familiar. This is all in our mindset in the moment a lot. This is all worse, right? So that's, it is what it is, right? Like, I'm not telling you don't feel that way. I'm not telling you don't experience that. But just keep that in mind, that in the bigger picture, there is no worse. If you keep going, there is no worse, right? There's only improvement. There's only better. It doesn't look the same. It's not what I had yesterday is exactly what I'm going to have today, or what I had yesterday is exactly what I'm going to have tomorrow, right? It can look different, but sometimes in that looking different, there's actually improvement once we adjust how we're looking. So sometimes we change and we're still looking at the old thing, or our situation changes. We're still looking. It used to be this way. I used to be able to do this. I used to have this, instead of saying, well, now I have this. Now it looks this way. Because as soon as what I find is, as soon as I change my focus, as soon as I lock in my focus on the current situation and build around that the best that I can, as soon as I do that, this is what I talked about yesterday, the script changes. The script flips, right? It goes from being against me to for me. It's the analogy I talk about a lot, running into the wind versus running with the wind. It's very different. So just keep that in mind to start, that there is no worse, and we're going to kind of build from that route going forward. So how do we then shift our actual experience where things don't seem very good, things don't seem in our favor, things don't seem to be going very well, right? Getting into that mentality of there is no worse, that can be very hard sometimes. So here's how you do that. You get proactive. Proactivity, guys, take notes here. Proactivity leads to opportunity. I'm reading it off my notes, right? I'm reading it off. There you go. You can also see I need to order compression socks and a teapot. Okay. So there is no worse. You get to that point by being proactive. Because what happens inevitably, if you're proactive, is you get opportunities. And that's really what people are looking for, right? People are really looking for opportunities. They don't want to just stay the same. They don't want to stay where they're at. Even if you've accomplished a very high level, in whatever you do, the reason you got to that high level, most likely, is because you pursue improvement. You pursue greatness. You pursue change. You pursue development. You pursue difficulty so that you can get better. So you're not just going to get to some threshold and then just be wanting to, like, okay, I'm good now. Like, maybe, but then watch what happens. And that's kind of leads to the second part of the second point, which is inaction leads to stagnation. So proactivity, being proactive, leads to opportunity, and inaction, being inactive, leads to stagnation. So what does that mean? It means that a lot of the time, whether conscious or not, we have that mentality like, if I just wait, something's going to show up. Guys and gals, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, look, there's opportunity to chill. There's opportunity to rest. There's opportunity to take it easy. There's no doubt about that in my mind. There's no doubt about that. But you can't just wait it out like endlessly. That doesn't work. You can't just wait. Like, you can be like, I'm going to wait for the storm to pass. But what happens is then, like, the storm passed, but you got so used to waiting that you just got so comfortable with waiting that now you're like, I don't even want to go look outside because maybe the storm's gone, and then I'm gonna have to get off my ass. Like, change the game. Get out, go out in the storm, go play in the storm, go dance in the storm. Like, don't wait for this moment when the situation favors you, right? Because that's how we get inactive. We're looking for the perfect, the perfect details, the perfect setup, all ducks in a row, they say, right? Don't wait for that moment. Don't look for that moment. Don't expect that moment, right? Change the game by getting proactive, by getting active instead of inactive. All right, point number 3 is, okay, well, it's like easy enough, right? But Again, maybe you're down right now. Maybe you're low energy. Maybe you just don't feel that great. The key is just don't quit. Just don't quit. Just keep going little by little. Just one step at a time. One foot in front of the other. One moment. Yesterday or the other day I talked about building momentum. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a second. But focusing, to build momentum, you want to focus on the moment, right? To build momentum, you want to focus on the moment. So if you just don't quit and you don't judge yourself, you won't have a problem with going slow, right? Because you want to be, if you're serious about the goal, if you're serious about hitting that target, you're just going to go through with it. You're just going to pursue it. You're just going to go after it no matter what. If you're not serious about the goal, you'll find an excuse. And sometimes excuses are real. Excuse me. In sales training that I did years ago, they say objection versus condition. An objection is like, I don't have the money. Well, I bet you can find the money. A condition is like, I'm in a wheelchair and there's only stairs. There's no ramp. Like, that's going to be hard, right? That's going to be hard. That was the real situation. They actually had an elevator, but that was at a gym I worked at in New York City. Crunch Fitness. Anybody remembers them? I think they're still around. So the point is, the conditions that you have, be honest about. Right now, I'm working this job I don't like because it keeps my apartment paid, but I'm going to improve that situation by finding something else. I'm going to seek out another opportunity. I'm going to create another opportunity, right? So these are all things that when you start to shift your mentality about your situations, because there's always going to be some sort of a situation you can find that doesn't favor you in your life. Something. So it doesn't mean they're just going to go away. It means that when I encounter them, I need to shift how I'm thinking about them. I need to see it, instead of being some sort of a disadvantage, I need to somehow shift it at least to neutral. But if you can shift your mentality, if you can shift your perspective to neutral, you will find a lot of the time that will over time shift to positive in your favor if you stick with that mentality. If you keep, it's like, again, running into the wind, you're going to get stronger. There's no wind that's always going to stay against you. Right? That's super fundamentally important. So last 2 points here, and then I'll kind of recap and I'll bring it all together. And actually, let me just say one more thing about not quitting. So my master, my Capoeira master, Master Cigano, who I tagged on here, he says, he talks about in Capoeira, but it's for anything. He says Capoeira is like a bicycle, riding a bicycle. As long as you keep pedaling, you won't fall, right? As soon as you stop pedaling, the bike falls. So even go slow with your pedaling, you're going to keep going. You're going to keep rolling, right? But like I said, if you keep pushing, you keep building resistance, you get stronger, eventually what happens? What's the goal that we're seeking? Because again, the goal can't just be, sorry, I got to stretch it. The goal can't just be the result, right? Because we're going to get the result, and then all the good habits we built, all the good best practices that we built, they're just going to go like, what? Now we're done? Like, now check out, right? No, like life isn't like a 9 to 5, right? Life is a 24/7. Give yourself off time. But I'm saying this from the mentality of an athlete. I'm saying this from the mentality of a business owner, entrepreneur. There's a lot of different approaches you can take. Some that, in my opinion, lead to greater success in any area. Success doesn't have to be financial. It doesn't have to be business. It doesn't have to be athletics. It can be in any area. Success just meaning the outcome that you're seeking, the outcome that you want to produce, or better, right? Or better. Sometimes better is not what you expected, but it's still better. So So the result that we want to build then is not just the outcome that we're looking to produce, but we want to build momentum. Momentum. This is a really big point. And I talked about momentum the other day. If you didn't catch yesterday's video or the other day's video, that was Tuesday. If you didn't catch Tuesday's video, I encourage you to go check it out. It's here on Facebook. It's here on YouTube. It's here on Instagram. So why is momentum so important? Well, think about it again like riding the bike. You know, riding a bike, better analogy than running really here, because when you ride a bike downhill, right, first you got to get all that potential, they call it in physics, potential, riding up the hill. Then you go downhill, that momentum. Right now, when you push, you go even faster, right? Instead of uphill, right? So when you change the game like that, when you start to build that momentum, when you start to build, you know, one thing just flowing into the next, that energy, where you're riding that wave, right? Like that's when everything in life, I find, you know, it doesn't mean there's not going to be some areas that still need more attention, more development, but I think the speed of everything picks up. The speed of progress in every area that I'm paying attention to, and maybe sometimes even ones that I'm not. Like, you know, I get going with messaging my clients, messaging my leads, messaging people, you know, I've served before, and all of a sudden more start coming. You know, I start training, I start going for runs, I start getting more you know, scheduled, structured training, doing it before I start my day, before I turn my phone on. What happens? I get more opportunities for train, right? I get, you know, new students. I get, you know, my students are enjoying it more. I feel better. My body feels momentum. That goes into my mentality, clearer head, better communication, you know, being more thorough, whatever else, other area, you know, being in other areas that I've been procrastinating on. That actually reminds me. I got to make a phone call. 1 second. See, exactly. This is real time. This is real time opportunity, right? This is real time. That's why I said proactivity leads to opportunity. I'm getting proactive doing this video. I don't have to do this video. That's what I mean by proactive. I don't have to. I'm doing it out of wanting to, right? Out of getting ahead, and it might be with something else. But that leads to thinking of something else that I need to do that's going to help me. So that's really, again, the result we're looking to produce. Not just momentum in the area that we're focusing on, but momentum in all the areas of our life that are important to us. And then the last thing is going to be, this is a funny one, going to totally shift the direction here. And this is important. Maybe I want to say the most important, but I think it's the thing that really, like I said, getting that mentality where you shift your mentality from the lack of opportunity to making opportunities. You know, that's a game changer, but this one's another game changer. This is how I find I keep going over the longer haul, and that is detachment. Guys, girls, ladies, gentlemen, children of all ages. Look, detachment, you want to know how to keep the momentum, how to ride the waves, detach. Once I get going, it feels so good, right? I'm on such a high level. I'm producing at such a high level. What happens? Sometimes, I don't want to say we get lazy, but you know, some of the best practices that put us in that situation, we build ourselves up so much, we get so much going that sometimes the priorities stop being on the day-to-day habits, the day-to-day best practices, and they start being on getting that event done, getting that order out, getting, you know, and we don't have the same, you know, breaks. We don't have the same, I don't take the time to meditate. I don't keep up my nutrition as well. I'm in the kitchen, right? So we get away from best practices. We start to incorporate not best practices. Does it happen? Yes. It's not the end of the world. That's why I'm saying detach. Detach from always being on. Detach from being at your highest. Does it mean to say don't keep being responsible? No, it's the actual exact opposite. It's do the best practices for the sake of the best practices, not to produce the outcome. When you focus on the outcome and the outcome goes away, like I said, you achieve a result. Now the best practices went away because we were too results oriented. But at the same time, you know, you want to make those habits part of, I think of it as in James Clear Atomic Habits, he talks about the highest level of habit formation being identity. So I would say that's what this is. This is just identity. It's make your habits your identity. Make your habits what you do. And then you'll notice when you're off that you suffer. It has impact. It has effect. It's not inconsequential. And be okay with that, right? That's where the detachment, instead of, I'm so gonna beat myself up, I'm gonna judge myself, I'm gonna be harsh. No, like, I missed my habit. Makes sense why I felt lousy. Well, it makes sense why my energy was low. I know how to fix that. I know what I need to do. So that's the last part, is detachment. So let me just recap today, and then I'll wrap up with some final thoughts, and see you guys next time. So first off, just the concept that there is no worse, right? There is no worse, meaning that you can be taking a step backwards, and it can be in your best interest. You can be experiencing a challenge, and it can be serving you. You can be in the midst of difficulty, and that can be exactly what you need. And you don't have to feel that way. You don't have to, know that, but you have to somewhere have that awareness, right? Like, when I say know that, it means at that moment, maybe you haven't absorbed it, but at some level, you have an awareness of that. The second thing is that proactivity leads to opportunity, inaction leads to stagnation. Let me give you another example of this. So yesterday, I had someone message me about my health services, my nutrition, my cooking, my coaching, and he ended up signing up for everything, like on the spot. He's like, yeah, I want that, I want that, I want that. And just signing him up with my supplemental nutrition company, I actually cashed out from some previous balance that I had built up, and then his sign up, I cashed out at over $600 just from that transaction without any commissions. So just on his sale. And then I had the motivation, because I had that sale, to make another sale. I call somebody up and he signed up. And so between those two sales, I ended up making another $250 on top of the $600. So I put on $750. I actually earned $850 when all is said and done. So that's that proactivity, guys. It actually went from being only 100 to that 100 doubled, and yes, that's a game changer for sure. And then inaction leads to stagnation, just the exact opposite, right? If you don't get into motion, you're not going to see some result. Don't wait for something to show up to be like, okay, now I'm going to get doing what I said I was going to do. Like, get on that thing now, right? Get on the thing before the thing you think you need shows up. Third thing is, if you're not on that level, even if you're like, I can't get into that mentality, then just don't quit. Just don't quit. Just keep putting steps, pedal that bicycle. You keep pedaling, doesn't fall over. Sometimes you're going uphill. Hop off the bike, walk it if you need to. Take a breather, right? But just don't quit. The part 4, like I talked about, what's the goal that we have besides the outcome of the production that we're producing? The outcome is the momentum. The result, the goal is the momentum that seeps into every other area of our life that's beneficial. And then the last part, how do we kind of keep it going? How do we not get so, attached to feel that good? Because it's going to produce a good feeling. You're going to be in an uplifted state. You're going to be stoked. You're going to, your endorphins are going. You're making money. All this stuff, right? Detachment, right? Doesn't mean stop doing what produced it. It's the exact opposite, right? Keep doing those things, but detach from it always working, right? It's like, just because you were running hard and you ran to the wind, you got stronger, and then the wind was at your back. Now you're going even faster. You're like, this is awesome. Then the wind gets to your front again. You're like, dang. So like, that's like things changing again, things shifting again, not being seemingly in your favor again. So when you shift that, a lot of things happen that really end up, again, like basically being beneficial, that at first may not seem to be so, right? You're like, okay, I don't get how this is beneficial. But if you take more time and you keep persisting and you keep putting effort and you keep being, problem solution oriented, you'll find a result. So I'm gonna leave you there. All like I said, just some final thoughts. Just keep the momentum going, guys. Day 3, December 3rd, day 3 of the month. Finishing this month strong. I know a lot of people are whatever about this year, but I'm telling you, like, there's opportunity to be had. You got to be hungry. You got to be persistent. You don't have to be, but if you want to change, if you want to get a better result, that like, I'm not experiencing any lack. I'm not experiencing any suffering that's not worthwhile. I really do believe any result that you still want to produce this year is tenable. It's not hard. It's only hard mentally, right? Just commit. If you want help with your health, if you want help making more money, if you want help just with life, reach out. I'm always here. People message me. They say, thanks for doing this. Thanks. I shared this with a friend. That's another thing. I encourage you, share this with somebody. Maybe this isn't like how you receive information, but somebody who does. Share this with them. I was listening to a video yesterday on YouTube. I actually posted it, and the guy said, you have to think why you're doing it for other people. And, at the end of the day, it has to be for other people. It can't be for yourself. So I do this to make impact on other people's lives, to help people who may be having a hard time, who are looking for this wavelength of energy, this wavelength of information, this wavelength of thinking. And I encourage you, like I said, I'll speak with you and do customized stuff, consultation with you, no cost. If you get services with mine, there's a cost, but I'll work with you, so don't feel shy to reach out, message me. I encourage you to. And again, like I said, not just for, maybe you who are watching, but someone All right, I'm going to leave you there. Blam. I got stuff to do. I got meetings to make. I got clients to deliver to. Kaz out. See you guys next time. Blam. Kaz out. Let me end this on all these channels. This is the hard part. Ending on Facebook. Blam. Kaz out. One more. Boom. Ending on Instagram. Kaz out. Ending on YouTube. Kaz out. Blank.